and gentlemen, and welcome back to another week at Zur with your Destiny Dad. And yeah, let's get right into what we've got going on here. How's everybody doing this week? So for starters, on the Hunter class, we have the Guizin Vest. We've got a Grenadier archetype, and it looks like health is our third stat. Base total 62 isn't bad. Health, I don't know. Health for me is one of those stats I don't really ever use. I don't really use health, and I don't really use weapons. As much as I want to use weapons, I think weapons is one of those stats for me that's like, if I have extra points in like my main one or my main two or like 200 or around there, and I just like, you know, what can I dump something in that'll actually be useful? I'll dump into weapons. But beyond that, I just don't find myself using it all that often. Up next, we have Certarachne's Facade. We've got a Bulwark archetype, which means we've got health and class. We have a base total of 62, and weapons is our third stat. For our Titans, we have the Eternal Warrior. We've got a Brawler archetype with weapons as our third stat. Good Lord. And a base of 59, which makes it even worse. We do also have the Abiant Leaps. We've got a Bulwark as our archetype and Grenade as our third stat. For our Warlocks, we do have the Geomag Stabilizers Bulwark once again with Melee as our third. And we've got Osmiomancy Gloves with Bulwark again and Melee again as our third. As always, we do have the class items, Solipsism, Stoicism, and Relativism. They will show up as whichever class you sign in on. So I'm currently on Titan, so currently the class item is Titan. If you have multiple characters and you want multiple class items, sign in on your proper character, and that character's class item will be there. Of course, we always have the Xenology quest. And for our strange offers this week, we've got some basketballs, some glimmer, some cores, and raid banners. And for our gear, let's see, what do we have? We have the Hard Light Catalyst. We've got the Skyburner Catalyst. We've got Queenbreaker, which is a phenomenal gun. I don't believe it really counts as being in the meta currently, but it is still incredibly strong, incredibly powerful. And if you don't have it, pick it up, please, and attempt to get the catalyst for it. And it is 1000% worthwhile. Even if it's not in the meta, it is a phenomenal DPS powerhouse. Up next, we have Tractor Cannon. Very good use. If you don't have it, pick it up. There's always something somewhere where, especially if you're raiding or doing dungeons, there's always some encounter where you just need a debuff, and using an entire super like a tether is just not cutting it because you need the super damage. So one person will sacrifice their rocket launcher and boop whatever you're doing, and then everybody gets so much more damage, and it's just get it if you don't have it. Up next is Crimson. This one is not at all mandatory, but it is fun. And it swings back and forth between being one of the most obnoxiously good guns in the game to being hot dog water. Right now, I think it's somewhere in the middle. I don't think it's bad, but I don't think anybody's jumping up to say it's their favorite gun right now. And as always, we have the Hawk Moon. We do have Corkscrew, which is good. Surplus is okay. A lot of people like Surplus. It's not my cup of tea, but and we do have Heavy Grip, which gives you more stability but less handling. I would probably pass on this role personally, but I feel like there's someone out there who's looking at this going like, oh yeah, that's the one for me. So if that's you, good job. I'm proud of you. For our legendary weapons, we do have True Prophecy, and we've got Grave Robber and Demolitionist. God, the stat line on this thing is a monster, but it just is not what you want it to be. Realistically, I think Is it opening shot and rangefinder or explosive rounds rangefinder? There's some explosive rounds on this is really obnoxious, I know. But there is a rangefinder or opening shot or snapshot. There's one of those kinds of perks. And this is like one of the few, is it rampage maybe? Snapshot rampage? There's some roll on this gun that makes it one of the only 120s that can still like consistently 2-tap. I forget what the roll is off the top of my head, but it is not this. I know that much. And I would probably pass on this unless you're just doing like some weird ability spam build and like this is just the perfect thing for you. Then again, you know, go for it. But we do have the Prophet with rapid hit and cascade point. We got extend mag and fluted barrel, which is not bad. For me, like, this is a quirky roll. And I could see somebody both in PvE and PvP making this work and doing like pretty good with it. But I don't know. I don't know that I would pick this up. But if you're someone like me who likes the goofy, janky stuff, like, yeah, go for this. Also, there's a lot of really solid weapon options here this week. Up next, we have the Incisor. We got Slice, which is really, really good on this. And we have Encore, which is okay. If you're going for some sort of PvP role, maybe I could see this being okay there. In PvE, Slice is going to carry, but Encore is pretty rough. But if you are just looking for a roll of this with Slice on it and that's all you care about, yeah, go for it. Up next we have the Widow's Bite. We've got Firmly Planted and Quick Draw, Extended and Hammer Forged, Flared and Alloy with a Stability, Masterwork. So this gun sits in a bad spot because one, it's a very old weapon, so it doesn't even have an origin trait, it doesn't have enhanceability, doesn't have multiple perks, it's not a tiered weapon, it's not an adept, it's not like, it doesn't have any of this stuff that just makes it good by default. On top of that, it is a 140, which is the lowest damage, like, per shot sniper, so it's pretty rough to use these in PvP. In PvE, there's a few outliers where they have, you know, like, the silver one, silver and purple from, Riven. The Dreaming City raid. Good God, what is wrong with me today? I'm tired. But like it can get like 4th times in triple tap and kinetic tremors or 4th times in bait and switch, right? And because of those damage increase perks and the fact that you're refunding ammo and the fact that it's a high rate of fire, it's dealing a high amount of DPS. But these snipers by themselves, they might do a decent amount of DPS because of how fast they're shooting, but beyond that, they're not helping you. So in PvE, they're not really doing anything for you outside of shooting very fast, and in PvP, they cannot secure the one-shot kill, I don't believe, on anything really. So even though this is a super consistency based role, I would probably pass on it, which is sad because I always thought that this was one of the coolest snipers in the game. It looks cool, it's named cool, like just, yeah, I don't know. I always wanted to like it, but I never did. Up next we have the Sovereignty. It is a 90 RPM, which is better, but its stats, fluted and accurized, even chambered, reload is okay. Like its stat line is really nice. Where is that? Oh, I see now. The only thing is Desperate Measures and Dragonfly. I could see maybe a play. Realistically, I could see somebody getting this sniper and being like, it's my favorite sniper, and only using this thing in PvP. And like Dragonfly deals AoE, so if you're running 3s and you pop somebody, now you've got a damage perk going And you've got splash damage on the other people, and if you have the ammo, you can, you know, body them and clean up most likely. But realistically, I think there's just easier, better ways to do that. And the same thing goes for PvE. I can see somebody saying like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put this in here. I can pop, you know, a trash ad and then chuck a grenade into the fray. And then I can turn around and shoot a champion with this. And then, right. I don't think it's bad. I don't think I would look at this and say like, oh god, no, don't buy that. But I also don't think I will be buying it. But if you're the type of person that wants to have like a goofy, quirky role, like what I was talking about, like just marrying up to something unique and just running with it until you get good with it, that might be a sniper you want to look at. Up next, we do have the Palindrome. We've got a pretty solid role here, realistically. We've got full bore, we've got closing time, we've got snapshot. Append and steady, I really would have liked to have not these. A part of me almost wants to go steady rounds, because that would give you, it would lose a little bit of range. Yeah, I think if you don't have a good palindrome, this might be a really good shout. I would do wild card. I would do steady rounds. And then I think I would enhance it and use the ballistics mod. And that way you get roughly 60 range and stability, and then you get up to, what is that? Is that plus 6 in each? So you would get, I think that's something you'd have to play around with, is either keeping appended mag or having more range, or getting more stability but losing a little bit of ammo. I think that one's going to come down to personal feel and preference. But if you don't have a good palindrome and you want one, I think that'll be a good shout. Honor's Edge is a sword. This is a very old sword. It does have Tireless Blade and Flash Counter, Enduring and Burst, Hungry and Enduring. I think Flash Counter is good. I think Tireless is okay. I think its stat line is bad because of its guard and blade perks. I would personally probably pass on this one. I think there's better options. I think there's better swords, and I think there's better roles that the sword is just not going to be super worth your time. Up next, we do have the Swarm. Oh, that's a phenomenal roll. Good lord. Okay. If you're looking for a reasonable PvP shotgun, LMG. Boom. Chambered, accurized, dynamic, tap the trigger. Vanguards. And you got a range masterwork, so you could even like swap to appended mag and then get your range back from doing so. And a lot of people never liked this gun. I thought that it didn't have as good of rolls as it could have had for what it was, but I think that overall, I think it's not a bad gun. And I think for PvP, it'll be doing some pretty good work. And last but not least, we have the Heretic's Fervor. I've talked about this gun before, as well as the rest of the guns from this season. Most of them didn't have phenomenal rolls, but some had good ones. This roll specifically here is not a good one, but it is a craftable weapon, and if you are interested in this rocket launcher, you can look up the other rolls that it can get and pick up a few copies of it for yourself and use some harmonizers and make it craftable so you can build your very own rocket launcher yourself. But with, where are we? Here we go. With all that being said, I do want to say thank you for everyone who comes and watches. I hope you enjoyed this week. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and drop a follow. Turn on those notifications so you never miss a video. And I hope you all have a good weekend, Guardians. I love you guys to death, and I will see you next time. Have a good weekend, Guardians.